Join me right now and welcome you to the program, Andrew McCarthy. Thank you for taking this time out. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I think probably the first question I should ask you, and one I'm sure nobody else in the world has asked, is how did you land such a plum role in the movie Class?
Well, you're right. No one's asked. Well, I was in New York City at the time where I live, and I was studying at New York University, studying acting, and it was between terms. I was a busboy, actually, and a waiter. And one of my friends read an ad in one of the trade papers that they were casting a movie, and a big open call, cattle call type deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we took the afternoon off, went up there. You know, you wait for like 4 hours with 400 people. Then you go in finally and you give a guy your picture and you talk for about a second. And he says, thanks. And you say, oh, okay, that's it. And then finally they bring you back 7 or 8 times and talk and audition and read and meet people, and sooner or later they offered me the part.
Okay, now prior to that, what had your aspirations been?
Well, I'd done some stage in New York, some off-Broadway stuff, nothing very exciting. To be on the stage, I guess, and to be in films, but nothing, this came a lot quicker than I'd anticipated.
Yeah. You mentioned the term cattle call, and that's one we hear a lot about, and I assume it gets its name quite literally because it is in fact a cattle call.
Yeah,
because as you say, they usher you in and usher you out. Is it as hectic as it sounds?
It's more boring, actually. I mean, you wait for hours, and then finally, when you get a chance to meet the person, you look them in the eye for about a second. They check you out, and that's it, literally. And then, if they see some glimmer, I don't know what those people see.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very hard job, if you ask me. I don't know how those people do that. And then they just bring you back, and then you get more in depth, and then you meet the director, and then you meet the producer, and then you read.
Was there a point in all of that where you felt like, okay, I've got it, or was it pins and needles all the way?
Well, at the beginning, I wasn't taking it very seriously, you know, because I was like, yeah, I'll go to another audition. But they put me on tape, and they started talking to me. All of a sudden, it got a little more serious. The tone, you could feel the tone in the room as it changed. And so I began to get more nervous. And it just worked out, though. I mean, you can feel it in the room. It changed when you begin to take seriously.
All right. When you found out you had the role in the movie Class, what was the initial meeting with Jacqueline Bisset like?
Well, they brought me out to Jackie's house out in California, and Marty Ransoff, the producer's an old friend of hers, so he took me over to her house, and we came in, and we're waiting for her, and I heard the toilet flush, so I knew it was okay. And so
this is a human being, after all.
Right. Actually, you know, and so she walked in. I was very nervous, but she was as nervous as I was, really. But she put me right at ease very, very quickly, and very, you get a feeling of warmth and communication. You look in her eyes, and so we hit it off wonderfully right away. And she was a great help to me during the filming. Not necessarily in telling me how to play things at all, but just keeping me relaxed and keeping our sense of fun about it.
So prior to meeting her, though, there was a bit of, were you at all intimidated by working with someone of her stature?
Sure. Sure, and by working with Lewis Carlino, too,
Yeah.
directed The Great Santini. I mean, I'd gotten to see that movie several times, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
And then to get a chance to work with these people, it's like a dream. Sure.
I'm glad you brought up Santini, because that, too, is one of my favorite films.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Michael O'Keefe, who played the son.
The son, yeah.
He was absolutely
Wonderful.
remarkable and was nominated for an Oscar for that. And to cast, and this is nothing against Tim Hutton, who won the Oscar for Ordinary People that year, but I thought O'Keefe was
Marvelous, yeah.
just as good, if not perhaps better.
Yeah, I agree. But, well, Lewis has a real eye for the truth. I mean, he doesn't, we don't always know how a scene's going to go, which is nice. You know, it's not this way. But when he sees what happened, when he sees it happen, he knows, and he goes, that's it. And he doesn't let you get away with a lot of shenanigans, you know. And so I think Lewis helped Michael a lot, and he certainly helped me a lot.
All right, this being your first film, were there any unpleasant or pleasant surprises on the set the first few days?
Oh, it was the first few days were a nightmare, kind of, because I was so nervous and so overwhelmed by everything. I mean, so many people and so much attention being thrown at me. I mean, literally, I mean, people with your hair and your makeup and your clothes, and all these people are responsible for making you look good. So dealing with that attention was very difficult.
Yeah.
And at one moment it's wonderful to have all this attention, another moment you just want to be left alone, you know?
Give me an idea of how Carlino directs, because I know some directors direct to the point of giving you almost line readings on how to do something.
Yeah,
others will leave you kind of on your own to work things out.
Yeah, that's what Lewis did. We rehearsed for 2 weeks, which was kind of a luxury in a lot of film. And so we got a chance to find out where the characters went and not to play a scene. You're not going to be angry in this scene. I mean, we found things out, and a lot of times I said, Lewis, do you want to say anything? He'd go, no. And so he let me find things. When I was having problems, he came over a little steering here, but he never would give me a line reading or tell me how to play something. He'd say, what do you want from her? Why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? Ask the questions that would key the answers to why I'm doing things.
Prior to the beginning of the film and having read the script and going through the rehearsals and all, did you have a firm grasp on how you wanted the character to go? Because I've had people tell me that it's been sometimes weeks into the filming of something before they really got a true key.
Sure. We knew we talked a lot about, me and Lewis, about Holden Caulfield type thing. That kind of growing up and the fun and some of the pain and things too. But it was till right near the end of the movie, I went up to Lewis and I said, Lou, I'm ready to do the movie now. Let's start again. Because it does take a long time till you're living it every day for a while, till suddenly you don't have to think about how to do it. You just know how he'd react and you just do it. And it's your second nature and it just happens. So certainly, I mean, if we did the film over, I'd be a lot better.
Yeah. Did you go to the dailies, the Russians?
Yeah, we did. Which, you know, there's a lot of mixed feelings about that. I found it very helpful because I had no idea what I looked like on screen. And to see some of my habits and habitual things that I would do that were not part of the character, not useful to me. And Lewis would point them out and we'd talk about them and things. So I found that a great deal of help.
I know a lot of directors hate for their actors to go to the rushes because they'll instantly want to change things or do it over or whatever. But I can see your point too.
Yeah, I think it was important. I'm glad I went. And I don't know if I'd always go, but it was important.
We've been talking here for several minutes, and we haven't really talked about the character you play. How would you describe Jonathan?
I describe him, well, Holden Caulfield, like we said, he's a shy, intelligent kid who's just kind of into his books, a little nerdy, just simply because he hasn't been exposed to all the things. And he's a lot more savvy and quick than he's given credit for, and so he gets to grow, which is a real nice thing, gets to grow out of being this kind of brunt of jokes, too. He gets a lot more experience, and he gets a wide range in a lot of ways.
Yeah. All right, would it be giving too much away to tell the audience what happens as the character, as the plot transpires?
No, we can give it away. It starts with my arrival at a new prep school, and I'm meeting my new roommate, who's the opposite of me. I'm pretty introverted, and he's Mr. Casual, experienced. And we go along playing a few pranks on each other, and it turns, finally, he sends me to a bar to loosen up. He says, you're too uptight, go to a bar. So to meet a woman, which I do, where Jacqueline picks me up, and we begin to have this affair, which transforms me out of my shell, so to speak, you know. And then it turns out to be, the woman I'm having the affair with turns out to be his mother, in fact, which we find out later on. And so then we deal with that and how that affects the friendship when he finds out. And so the movie really is about the friendship between these two kids, I think, and how it grows and then survives.
That's it. The movie really, I think, plays on a number of levels. It's in many ways very, very funny, but it also has, I think, some important things to say.
Yeah, I think we went for that more. Instead of a kind of glib look at things, we tried to deal with some of the reality. These are touchy situations, you know, and real. So we tried to go for some of the human emotions and how you would really deal with these things. Instead of a quick oversight, we tried to deal with some of that, I think.
All right, after class, what do you hope to do?
What do I hope to do? I'm not sure. Maybe the stage would be nice. Love to. Maybe we'll have to see what happens.
You know, most people who have had their training on the stage, no matter how many movies they make or how successful they become in films, they always say they want to keep a tie in some way with the stage, just to keep that, I guess, to keep the juices flowing, you know, because the stage is such a marvelous, marvelous
Yeah,
training
you can't
ground.
cheat.
Yeah, exactly. You know
Yeah.
right away if you're good or bad.
Well, yeah, you know you're getting feedback.
Mhm.
That's true.
That's right.
It's alive. It's very alive.
Well, whatever you do after class, I want to wish you much success with it,
Thank
and
you.
thank you a lot for coming by.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.